Alright, what's going on, guys? It's your boy Brady Bands here, back at you again with another banger. And today, I kind of wanted to have a little sit down with the YouTube Emporium.com. Now, throughout my time on this site, as a viewer, as a connoisseur, even as a video creator, right? I have seen a multitude of things coming and going regarding, trends on this site, right? But for most recently speaking, I have seen something that, quite honestly, has been going on for a long time, but nowadays, people apparently have an issue with it. So what I'm talking about, of course, is the true crime genre of videos. Now, it could be a variety of just, breaking down cases, or just, going over police interactions in police interviews, like JCS, and so on and so forth. So there's an abundance of true crime related topics on this site, and one in particular, of course, is case breakdowns. We've seen a lot of people coming and going with case breakdowns. It could be from the run-of-the-mill local stuff, it could be national headlines, even your favorite fucking rappers have been, videos been making about them regarding their cases, regarding their day-to-day exploits, right? And then one person in particular has made a splash throughout the past couple years. I would say probably like 5 years, 6 years, or 4 or 5 years for sure, and that is 1090J. Now, not most of you, but 1090J is a YouTuber on this site that has not only talked about his own personal experiences, but he has also made real life content as well. And a lot of people have an issue with the specific content that he's making regarding, case breakdowns and just, pretty much that overall genre of style of video. And the reason being for that is because an old person that used to have a situation with 1090J back in the day made a kind of exposing video, quote unquote exposing video on bro. Basically, he brought up his paperwork back when he was like 15 years old, and he had like, I'm gonna look into it for sure. He had I believe a co-defendant, and he didn't really incriminate him. He more or less just gave a run-of-the-mill statement, to the police. It was nothing incriminating at all whatsoever. And because his name was even on the paperwork to begin with, people called him a snitch. People called him a rat, which is the lowest of the low that you can go in this life, right? Just because his name was on the paper, not the specific details of what was on the paperwork, but because his name was on it. And that right there is pretty crazy, if you do ask me, because that right there is mob mentality. Now, mob mentality is a crazy thing. It happens in real life in every sector, and you could even see it now on the internet, which is crazy. And what I mean by that is people could support 1090Jake, and I'm only using him as an example because he is probably one of the main examples that you see today. A lot of people are going against him. That's not to say that there's people out there that are not supporting him and what he's doing on his channel, his platform, and so on and so forth. But I say that to say that if you aren't doing anything at all and you don't have haters, there's something wrong. So in this case, people are just hating on him. People are hating on him. People are trying to get his platform under him, basically pulling the rug from under his feet, if you want to say that. But when it comes back to it, it's mob mentality. They could support him one day, and if someone sees something that they disagree with personally, it doesn't matter what the scope of the situation is. It doesn't matter what morals that 1090Jake has, that anybody has on the face of the earth, right? If that one particular person disagrees personally, then they could start a spark right there in a movement. And in this case, they're calling him a snitch just for his name being on fucking paperwork, bro. That's probably the craziest thing I've seen in a long time. I feel like snitching nowadays is getting so watered down to the point where people are just throwing that term around, and that term has some bad connotations with it as well. It could put a bad look on not only you, but your family as well. And I really disagree with a lot of people's approach. And it's not just your typical commenter that's saying that in the comments. Now that's a whole different point, right? People comment in the comments all the time. I've seen specific people on content creating sites basically calling him a snitch, giving their own personal opinion, even though they weren't even in the situation to begin with, right? You gotta realize this is his own personal situation, okay? It's his own personal situation. I can understand that he is a quote unquote public figure. Maybe I would say that. You could say that. There's difference in degrees to that, but him being a public figure, there's always gonna be somebody that's gonna try and dig in past of him and just try and dig up any dirt that they could fucking find. That way they could just, get rid of him on the face of the earth right there, because there's always gonna be people that disagree with whatever platform you have. And in this case, they're trying to fuck up his platform just on the base of personal dis. Now, in conclusion today, take everything that you see on this site with a grain of salt. There's a lot of hidden skeletons in a lot of people's closets on this site. Fuck, I mean, look at EDP. Like, we all know EDP. We all remember, right? But that's one in a million. million. And you gotta realize people on this site, not all of them are bad. Majority of them want to make a positive impact, a positive outlook, not only on their community, but the site as a whole. And they could do both of that with building their own platform. So in conclusion today, YouTube's snitching problem isn't really a problem. It's just more of a personal disagreement based on morals between, you know, a typical commenter, another content creator, and a person with a bigger platform. That's all it really comes down to. And I've seen a multitude of videos and a multitude of comments as well, just backing up the whole anti-1090J snitching problem. And if people are gonna have that mob mentality, then I really don't see a future for this site other than streaming, because streaming nowadays, especially on Kick, is the new way to go. And if people are disagreeing with some sort of content that you put up, that you edit up on this site, just based on the principles and morals that they have personally, then that's a bad outlook. All right, anyways guys, I hope you guys all have a great rest of your day, and your boy Brady fans, peace out.